Hello everyone, we are here in Russia. Oh, it's not Russia, it's called Russia. That's what I hear. So it's a cute little town. I've been to Ohio, I've been to Cleveland. I love visiting customers. So we're going to be visiting Superior Aluminum Products. It's a great American story. So they manufacture or fabricate aluminum products, the rails, the fences, the aluminum columns. That's what they make, and they all make them here in this town. We're going to be talking to Doug, the CEO of Superior Aluminum Products. It's a third generation. It's a family business. It's truly a family business owned by two families. Let's go and have a chat with Doug. I'm really looking forward to this experience and learning. Let's go and see how they make aluminum products.
Happy to.
Thank you for having me here. It's great to see you. You know, it's not often that you go visit a manufacturer and you fabricate things and then see how everything works. And we are here at Superior Aluminum Products. Would you like to give a tour of your office? Yeah? Okay, cool.
So we are a fabricator of custom aluminum architectural products for the construction industry. So anything, it's mostly exterior products. You would see exterior on a hotel or a apartment complex or a university, and all the way down to an individual home. So the exterior aluminum products you would see would be things like aluminum support columns, aluminum fence, a lot of products like that. And aluminum, because there's heavy push the last 8 to 10 years on sustainability. Aluminum is about as good as it gets when it comes to that. It's recyclable. It doesn't rust, tarnish, all those type of things. So aluminum is becoming a more and more popular item for external surfaces.
So that would mean that there's a lot of growth in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to grow.
Yeah, the industry will continue to grow. There will be ups and downs depending upon interest rates and projects, but for the most part, over a period of time, the aluminum industry has grown significantly.
I'm just curious, right? So what were people using before aluminum?
So people use wood, people used wrought iron, used steel. Aluminum became popular probably 40 to 50 years ago, and it's the fastest growing product. There are other alternatives people are using today. There are the growth of PVC type products and vinyl type products. But from a strength standpoint and a long-term durability standpoint, it's hard to beat aluminum.
It's awesome. So those are some of your products there.
Yeah. Yeah, those are some items that, from a training standpoint, we bring in contractors from all over the country and train them on our products. So these are just some units to do our training. It starts as a 22-foot extrusion, and we customize it per the project down to the 16th of an inch, designed and built that way. And then our installer partners, who is a network of factory trained installers from across the country, will put them out. Pipe product is a commercial product used in churches and schools and those type of things. And then more residential products you'll see in the back.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
And he's going to be doing some bending now, customizing the bend for that particular specification. So he's got a 90-degree bend already. Now it looks like he's going to make another bend.
So where is this going?
This one will, Jason, you know where this one's going?
Going to an Air Force base in Florida, I think.
Going to an Air Force base in Florida. So it's probably some kind of perimeter guarding type of thing at an Air Force base in Florida.
So you mostly work, a lot of your business is from the government?
I wouldn't say a lot, probably 10% of our business is government. One of the other markets that we've been successful at recently and looking to expand more into is water wastewater plants. So the government passed an infrastructure bill a couple of years ago, wants cleaner water throughout the United States, and the water wastewater plants in all the municipalities have to update their equipment, update their tanks so they can meet the new standards. The government actually has money set aside to help each of these communities to do it, and we want to be a part of that. So we'll do perimeter guarding on tanks at a wastewater plant. So yes, the government is some of our business, but it's not an extensive amount. This is the pipe rail department. So if you can picture products starting at the wall, we're doing value add with it as we move down. We're bending it, we're sizing it, we're drilling it, we're putting the final assembly together, and then it goes out the dock door on the other side of the building.
Very interesting. And where do you source this from? Is this comes to you as it?
That comes to us in a 22-foot length. That comes from Carthage, Tennessee. We have a supplier in Tennessee. We have a supplier in Georgia, and we have a supplier in Dallas, Texas that makes this type of product.
It's amazing. And how many people work at this facility here?
We, between 75 and 80, I think we're close to 80 right now. We were probably 40 people about 5 years ago. So we doubled our workforce. We've expanded the building. Our sales have almost tripled in those 5 years. So a lot of things happen.
And is this the only manufacturing, or this is the only location you have?
This is our only location. In fact, we looked at before we expanded the building, a lot of our new business is coming from the South. During COVID, a lot of the population moved to the Carolinas, Tennessee, and Georgia, down to the South. And we actually looked at putting a facility down in that area closest to there. The problem is our key to success is the people that you see doing these things. It's our workforce. It's the skilled technicians, and they're passing that kind of knowledge down to others. To start brand new somewhere else, even though geographically it would have made sense and cost of shipping would have made sense, we just decided our core competency is the people that are the technicians that are doing this type of thing. And so just decided to expand right here in Ohio. We see more opportunity in the marketplace, and we hope to capitalize on it. So again, that's pipe rail department. And we'll see some of the finished goods over there when we get to the other side. Go through the weld shop here.
And I also see that the place is very clean, right? So, I mean, that's something I noticed because I've been to other places.
I appreciate you saying that. We take great pride in that. And most customers, when they visit, are like, I've never been in a manufacturing facility this clean. It's always like this. It isn't like, oh, we got visitors coming, let's clean up. It is always like this. These folks, it's one of the reasons we decided to expand here, take great pride in that. And they're more efficient when it's clean, and less accidents happen. There's a lot of benefits that come from that. But it's the pride that these folks take in their work that makes it's always clean in here. My guess is as we continue to grow, things will become a little bit more compact, but we'll address that as we get there. It's a very good problem to have. You're right. Okay, so now we're in the welding department, and these four guys are unbelievable craftsmen. Like, you give them a drawing and say, figure out a way to put this together. Every time they come out with the product. So Kurt's welding a custom gate here, probably. Building a gate? Yep. So Kurt's building a custom gate. So let's say it's a swimming pool with a fence around the swimming pool. Most of our materials go together with fasteners. When you have a gate, you don't want it built with fasteners because it's opening and closing and banging, and eventually those fasteners will work themselves out. So everything that's going to get heavy use gets welded. So Kurt started with raw extrusions and designed and built this particular custom gate. Fits in a custom application on a swimming pool or an entranceway into a courtyard or something like that.
So that's how a gate is being made.
This is how gates being made. But
Starts out in those pieces like that there.
Then I
put them all together, and
when it's done, you won't believe that it was multiple pieces because it looks like one piece. You'll grind all this down, and it'll be a smooth finish. It'll get painted, and it looks like one piece. So this is the in process look. But when you see the finished look, you'll be like, wow, I can't believe that's a welded gate. We ship all over the country, and in fact to some of the islands, and we just did a big project in Hawaii, and we do Caribbean islands, Canada. But most of these, the market that we've become very successful in is multifamily apartments and condominiums. So probably 75% of what Kurt's going to make gates for is going to be a swimming pool and an apartment complex. So one of the things Karthik commented on was how clean the facility is. I'm gonna remind you, you're in a welding room, which are usually stuff everywhere because there's a lot in this area. There's a lot of grinding. See all the grinding equipment? All these things need grinded and so on. Most shops that I went in my last job when I was in distribution, the welding department, the worst department. These guys take great pride in cleanliness. I didn't tell you, Kurt didn't know you're coming. I didn't tell you that. This is how it looks back here all the time. It was started by the predecessors, the ancestors of the company. This is the way we're going to do things. And It's just the only acceptable way to do things. Most decks historically were wood, and eventually wood over time will rot, and then they got to rebuild a deck. Today, they build only the wood, the sub base. There's lightweight concrete over it, so it lasts 40 or 50 years.
So that's what it's good.
Oh, yeah. So this post, that's fake on it already, but this post, our welding department is taking what we call rebar. It's similar to that. They're welding a piece of rebar with a base to the post here, and then that will be the corner of the balcony or the middle of the balcony support structure. They're welding the base and the other aluminum support so that when you're on the fourth floor, there needs to be a very strong, beefy base. If a big heavy guy leans up against that thing, it's got to be able to support that type of thing. That'll start out as a 20-something foot extrusion. It'll get cut to size. Our CNC machine will CNC shapes out of it. The bottom rail goes into that there, so that gets machined out. We'll see that machine there. This particular department was our fastest growing department, and we went from having 2 saws and 4 assembly tables to 6 saws and 12 assembly tables over the last 5 years. So raw material starts in the back of the facility, flows forward, it gets cut, it gets punched, it gets CNC'd, all the value add things that happen to it. Final assembly happens there. And then this is staged, ready to go out those dock doors then next.
So it's a finished product.
That's a finished product. That's going to be a cable rail. It'll get tightened at the job site, but this is not tightened yet. Once it gets to the job site and get it installed, this will all be tightened out. So instead of having vertical pickets like those over there,
Yeah.
if you're sitting on a balcony and there's a view, say there's a lake or a mountain, if you're wanting a good view, the cable rail, believe it or not, as you're sitting there, it kind of disappears from sight, and it's almost like a clear view. It's more about the view than anything. So if you're in the middle of a downtown area, they probably don't spend the extra money for cable rail. They'll use a more economical vertical picket.
This is more expensive.
Cable rail's more expensive. That's a braided stainless steel cable. That's an aircraft stainless steel cable because kids are going to step on it, and that's a very strong cable to support things. That's our fastest growing product because people want that look. This has become popular. It's a newer product. It's been out 10 years. So it's a newer product that people are adopting more on, especially the architects are designing this in. Everything we do is designed in-house. We've got 3 new products on the docket to design, brand new products to design this year. Most of that comes from going out and talking to customers. What do you like to see? What are the architects? What kind of look are they looking for? What kind of products can we also supply you on this job that are also aluminum based? So that's the impetus for our strategic plan on what new products we're going to come out with this year.
I see that. I mean, you're very big at that, right? So you go and talk to customers and find out the problem.
Yeah.
But let's say, you ship the product and the customer says, hey, you know what, there's some problem with this, or, I don't like this thing or that thing. Even if that kind of a product is not available in the market, you try to brainstorm and you come up with it.
That's how the cable rail came up. That's how we have a mesh railing now. We have a glass railing now. We designed, in the last 5 years, we probably designed a dozen new products because of what the customers wanted. So we don't sit back and say, well, we've been in business 50 years. Customers will keep using the same thing we designed 50 years ago. Tastes evolve and technologies evolve. And so we've got to stay with them, in fact, out front of it. Yeah.
So what do you see are some of the big challenges we face today?
Well, the big challenge that happened during COVID and since then has been finding good people. I don't know if work ethic changed or what, but used to have the HR guy would have a file with 12 resumes in it. If we needed somebody, he'd pull that file out and interview 5 of the people in that file. Today he has a hanging folder with no resumes in, and we got to go out and find people. So the hard part is getting good people. Let's go back to that culture thing we talked about. Why is the place clean? Because we hire people who value that type of thing. So finding people who fit our culture. The best way to do that is these people know others who are like them or who have the same kind of values. So we don't hire out of a folder of people who came in and put an application in. We have our people go out and find good people. So that's been the hardest thing because everybody's on the recruiting team. All 80 employees are recruiting because we need them. We need to find people that fit our culture. You put one bad person into a culture that's like this, it can be a cancer and it can spread. We avoid that.
That's something we say at DC Cap as well, right? So I like to say that everybody in the company is a recruiter and everybody in the company is a sales guy, right? So guys, we need to sell and we need to make, hiring is important,
That's exactly right.
That's
That's exactly right. So that's probably the biggest challenge. But thankfully, anytime we have an opening or an opportunity, we get a couple of good candidates for that, and they join us. We know already what type of person they are, and that they're going to fit within our culture, not cause this.
And what kind of experience do you need, right, to join?
It all depends on the job. I mean, we IT people, they've got to have IT degrees. In this particular case out here, we want people with good mechanical skills, and that's something I don't have. I would be terrible out here. In fact, I worked out here my first 2 weeks here. I was by far the worst assembler in the entire company and would be today if they brought me out. So that's not the gift I was given. We find people who, I'll tell you what, a real secret to our success, if you're in a rural community, you drove in here and you're like, cornfields and wide open spaces. A lot of these people are farmers. They have their own farm, family business at home. They wake up in the morning, they take care of cattle, they're fixing their equipment. And so they're people who grew up with a mechanical mind. So one of the reasons we are not in a major city, these people with a farming community background, it's second nature to them to have carpentry skills, to be able to fix things, to have mechanical skills. So it's one of the secret to our success right here. When I first started working here, I worked at 2 other companies, but at one of the companies I worked for, we were in distribution. And for a 12-county area, I was in most major manufacturing plants. Most of them had females working on the shop floor. When I came out here and I worked out in the shop for 2 weeks, I didn't see a female. And I asked my HR guy, I said, why aren't there any women working in our shop? And he's like, I don't know, we just never recruited. We've just always done it this way. I'm like, we are cutting ourselves from half of the population by not recruiting females. And as we grow, we're going to need to do that. So Robin was our first. She broke the barriers. She's a fantastic assembler, and she'll tell you, even like when we first talked, I'm like, Robin, you're the first. The guys out there going to say, why are there women out here working? We don't have women out here. And Robin's like, I'm not scared. I'm fine with that. And she's phenomenal. So now there are a dozen females working out here.
Yeah, winning teams have women in them, right?
Winning teams, exactly right. I agree 100% with that. Well, I mean, she's just fantastic what she does. In fact, she does a lot of our more complex, so cable railing and on some of our newer products. They start over here because Robin's good at that kind of stuff. So yeah, she's doing that product as it's cut, it's been punched, and she's now doing the final assembly. But there are 4 or 5 steps that had to happen to get it.
That can be automated or no? It can be.
That we are looking at that right now. We brought in like an automatic screw feeder we're trying out. That we're trying to say, is there a way that she could have something that hangs from here and that with an automatic screw feeder we could do that? We're looking at that right now.
Sure, yeah.
Just yesterday we had a company-wide meeting to talk about what is our strategic plan for this year. And everybody was involved. And we need to now, because of the size we're getting to, start looking at automation. What automation things are available to us to automate things that were done a certain way 50 years ago can be done differently now. So exactly that. We're looking at what are the possibilities.
So when you started here, so that's what you did. You came to a shop floor.
I didn't even go in the office for 2 weeks. I wore jeans and a sweatshirt and worked out here and worked beside all these people. I was terrible, though. I'm telling you. When we get to the stamping press, I shut that thing down twice. They had to come out and reset the whole stamping press. I'm not a mechanically oriented person. These people are. They're the ones that are teaching me. But it gave me a chance to get to know them a little bit through their family.
So you've always lived in this side of the town, I always lived in Ohio? Yeah.
Well, I grew up here. I was gone for almost 30 years, and then I moved back. So Owen's running a CNC machine here. You'll see he's cutting shapes. That shape will be the top rail for what Robin's working on. So her per rail, when you stand it up, it'll slide into that end post, and then you'll also kind of shape on the bottom. Actually, there's already shape on the bottom, so the bottom rail will slide in. But that started out as a 22-foot extrusion. I've got cut to size. Owen is taking that stack that's cut, and he's machining openings here. This one's going to be a corner unit, I can tell already, because one rail is going to come in here, one rail is going to come in here. That'll be a corner of a balcony.
It's very cool how that works.
Very cool. Owen can make this thing dance. We have another one over here where we're machining parts. Those machines are about $120,000 a piece. Yeah, that's called a Haas. Haas is one of the major manufacturers of CNC machines. CNC being computer numeric control. There is a software program that runs that, so it's all computer based to run that machine. So Owen went to the vocational school around here. Vocational school's been very good to us. We sit on the advisory board. We tell them the type of skills that we need young people to have, and they go for their junior and senior year through a machining program. They start with manual machines, and by the time they get through their senior year, they're running CNC. So Owen came in here like, I'm not scared of this thing. This is what I was trained to do. He was trained to do that when he was in high school.
So vocational school is more for manufacturing compared to a trade school for contractors. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, they have contractor ends too, but because manufacturing has grown so fast around here the last 10 years, there's been a lot of emphasis on building new labs and buying new equipment at the trade schools so that they could teach manufacturing and machining, not just carpenter trade. So yeah, Owen had, and the other guy that runs the other machine, I don't see him here now, he also went through the same training program. Owen is the first original and still the operator of our CNC machine.
And how long has Owen been here?
How long have you been here, Owen? 4 years. 4 years. So in the past, we used to farm this all out to the machine shop.
How did somebody else do it?
We would take that skid and send it to somebody, and they would do those kind of things. And nothing against anybody else, but we wanted to control our own destiny. If we put the right system in place, we can have better flow by us controlling it. Yeah, as you grow, I had a stamping press before. It was an old model. We were able to do everything we needed at one stamping press. As you grow, you start to say, what are our risks? Well, that stamping press goes down, we don't make rails. So not only did we need another stamping press to mitigate risk, we need another stamping press because our volume got so big that we had to run that press. We had to start.
What is a stamping press?
What's that?
What is a stamping press?
Okay, so that stamping press is punching the holes in that Robin was putting those fasteners in.
Oh, yeah.
It's putting the holes into that railing so that Robin can put a fastener between that and the picker.
Oh, okay.
So we're stamping. Sometimes we're punching holes so that the picker can go through it. So it's punching out square holes, and it's also putting in holes for fasteners at the same time on one press. We'll look at that when we come back. So raw materials start here. So you can see there's millions of dollars of raw materials, but it's all just 22-foot lengths, not sized for the job. And so in 6 different colors and in different types of extrusion designs, we make a lot of different styles. It depends on the look that somebody wants, especially the architects will specify a certain style. So all of these are different styles of top rail or different styles of whatever they want on the job.
And where are you getting the raw materials from?
So same place we talked about before. So we're getting them out of Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, and one extrusion comes from Mississauga, Canada.
Canada. And you have a purchasing department or?
Yeah. There's a purchasing department that handles all that. That's correct. So again, I want to take you back here because this is kind of where it starts. And it's well organized and well sorted. All of this used to be, we walked through before where the expansion started. All of this used to be in that area. And it was inefficient. And as we grew, we're like, we need more assembly tables. Well, there's no room here. Well, we'll put them over there. So some of the assemblers were here, and the saw guy was over there. Some of the assemblers were over. There were things scattered about because we grew so fast that we needed to set up more manufacturing. And material kind of flowed through the shop like this. Ideally, you want to start with a raw material and have it flow in a straight line and out the door. Didn't happen that way as we were growing. So the reason for the expansion, not only because of the increased volume, but we needed more efficiency. 2 years ago, we had our biggest year ever in the company history. We worked 50 weeks of overtime out of 52. Last year, we sold the same amount of products, 1 week of overtime. So that's the proof that the efficiency took place once we got the expansion done.
And I'm just curious. I mean, That's great data. Do you measure it all the time?
Oh, yeah.
How do you do that?
I'm a data nut, so I'm a number guy. So we're measuring data all the time. The limitation of the data is sometimes have you built the systems to give you the data you want, or are you manually searching in 3 different locations, consolidate that on a spreadsheet and doing your own type of dashboard? So going forward, a real key to our growth is going to be how are we able to pull all this data in a format and be able to make good decisions moving forward, because industry is moving very quickly. We sit around and say, well, we'll figure that out here in the next couple of weeks. Somebody else has already taken that and go. So we've got to have data at our fingertips and valid data to be able to do that. Interestingly enough, we called them shop huddles. We had a shop huddle this morning, a half an hour long huddle about how getting ideas from them. How is the best way for them to report the hours, the time that they work on each job? And should we use some kind of a scanner that they scan in and put the job number in and scan out of the job so we can collect that data and make good decisions off that data? As we've grown, it's just kind of been the way we've done it for 50 years. Now we got to think different.
And how often do you have these shop huddles? I like the word shop huddle.
It's a huddle, yeah. So at a minimum monthly, I come out and have a shop huddle after second break, at a minimum. Today, there were individual department huddles. Now they huddle. We call them T-Day huddles, Tuesdays and Thursdays. They huddle every Tuesday and Thursday within their group to talk about how do we improve what we're doing, what's been our stumbling blocks, and what kind of resources do we need to overcome it. So every Tuesday and Thursday, we call them T-Day huddles. Those happen. So I happen to join in T-Day huddles because I'm looking for ideas from them. How do we collect data better so we have better data?
See, when I think about huddle, I always think about Slack. Right? Yeah, we huddle on a Slack, but this is amazing. T-Day huddle.
Yeah, T-Day huddles, Tuesdays and Thursdays, first thing in the morning. They huddle, and any communications that have come out from the company, one of our administrative people in the office keeps a file for each one of them, and she brings the file out before she leaves on Monday afternoon or Wednesday afternoon. They've got a file of things that they communicate, and then they discuss their struggles and ideas for improvement within each other. T-Day huddles.
T-Day huddle.
Yeah. We didn't want to do it every day, but said, let's do it twice a week. Well, Tuesday and Thursday, T-Day. Yeah, this is the guy who runs all our production. That's the production manager right there.
So a lot of the people who work here, they have their own farm, and then
yeah, I would say 75% of them have their own farm, family business farm that they work on.
Okay.
They want good benefits. They want to be able to work a certain reason we start at 6 a.m. The farmers want to do that because they want to be home by 3:30. They've got their afternoon feeding and things they have to do before dinner time. So we used to start at like 7:30 in the morning, and we backed it up a half an hour, 4 different times over the last 3 years. And they're happy starting at 6. Farmers start early, and they want to be home to take care of their other type of things also.
Nice.
So we try to adjust based upon what's best for the majority of the team. Again, most of the stuff goes out on our own trucks. The material that doesn't go out on our own trucks, we have to box and ship it on a LTL company that like ABF or somebody like that will take it to California for us or Montana. We don't. Our trucks don't go there.
Oh, you talked to me about that pen. So that's the pen.
Yeah. That's going to go down probably some steps. That's probably not a ramp unless it's a ramp. It might be a platform and then a ramp going down, but it's probably steps, I would imagine, and they're all custom designed for each of those applications. We don't have a patent, but we've got an angle on the market. Our product is very clean and sleek. You don't see any fasteners. There's no fasteners, no screws, anything going into this product. It's all put together with a sleeve that has an industrial epoxy. So we literally use this very expensive 3M epoxy, put it on the sleeve, slide it up into there, and then it hardens. And so there's no fasteners used whatsoever in assembly of any of this product. Those are all, it's a clean look. So when you're running your hand across it, you don't run your hand across any fasteners or any of those type of things. It's all done with industrial epoxy. We're one of the few that does it that way. A little more expensive to do it that way, but it's the clean look that the architects want. The reason these are laying here is once the industrial epoxy is done, you need to let it dry 24 hours so that's fully hardened. So when they put this together, they're going to lay this down. They're going to together and make sure all the gaps are out of it, make sure everything goes together perfectly. And then you'll come back tomorrow morning. This will be laying here, but by about 8 o'clock in the morning, it'll be going out the door. So it's drying overnight, basically is what it's going to do.
really love this dog. It's been a great, great experience.
It's a cool place, for a guy. My background is that I'm an electrical engineer. My background is automation and electrical. And it was like, okay, I'm trained in electrical and automation. This really has nothing to do with that. Do I really want to do this? And it's probably the greatest decision I've ever made in my career. It's been fantastic. It really has.
I think you've made a very big difference here. I mean, just coming here, I think watching this is a treat.
Yeah, it's very satisfying to see what the team has been able to accomplish over the last 9 years, because it was a good company, but it was just kind of doing the same old for many years. And markets change, and you got to be able to adapt with it.
And you took over in 2016?
Yeah. That's our training deck, like I was saying before. We bring installers in and we train them on how to do different things, and we'll mount some steps up there, and they'll do some installation, and we'll talk about how do you mount to a wall versus how do you mount to steps. A lot of training goes on of outside.
This is your office.
So I'm back there. So this is our production team is here. So my vice president of operations is here. Our operations manager, our purchasing people, all the operation type of people are here. Then we start sales guys. And then my office is down here in Milford. Then in the back is human resources and accounting and IT.
Oh, so this is
we're very proud of that. We're very proud of that. People now, if you work here for more than 25 years, you're permanently on the board. So these people have all retired. If there's a year on it, they've all retired, and they're permanently on this board forever. These are the people that are still actively working. And we've got a couple of guys these two guys are going to go over to this column next year. They're going to be 40-year guys. Yeah, I'll never make it. I started way too young. I get to move to this column next year, but I'll never make it over there. But we've got guys that are going to move into the 40-year column, and some of our 20+ year guys are going to move into the 30-year column next year. So next year's a big year of moving people over. But we take great pride in people. Most people, once they start here, they don't leave. You build a culture of inclusion. You build a culture of everybody's ideas matter, and people want to be a part of that. So that's our wall of fame right there.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, Doug, I just want to say a big thank you. So, like I said, I think this is like a treat to watch all this. I mean, again, we use all these products in our homes.
Yep.
But it's not often you get to see how things are made and what goes behind into this. Another thing which I find really, really fascinating is, everything is made here, right? So we talk about made in America, and that's what you're doing. It's a great American story. I really love this, right? And also your employees, right? I think it was great to chat with them as well. And another thing which I thought was very, very, it was humbling for me is, they also are farmers, right? Most of them are farmers. They have their own farm. And then they start work at 6 a.m. in the morning, and they finish it up at like 2. And then they go back and they do the work, a lot of grinding here. And like I said, it's like super clean, right? But when I came in here, I didn't know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
I just came in with a blank slate of mind, but it's super clean, the entire place, right? So, thanks for doing this, and thanks for showing us everything. I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Doug.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for joining our Driven by DC Cap podcast. Your support means a lot to us. If you enjoyed this episode, please click the like button and subscribe. Consider leaving us a review. Thank you for joining us.